Now that our inside fabric, our inside lining fabric is dried, I'm ready to do the 4 corner posts. I'm ready to cover those and the little ledge that the oil can sits on. Clean out your holes because that's where your screws are going to go back in. This would be the top. This would be the bottom because I can see my nail holes down here. Let me look and see if I've got that in the picture. Yep, I've got it. So these are the nail holes. So this is going to be our top. And what I want to do is I'm going through all my scraps to see if I have any pieces big enough to cover 4 of these. And my smaller pieces I don't. I got interested and had fun out of some of my smaller pieces making a Dresden plate last night. I may use it on it, I may not. I just had a little fun doing it with little scraps. But I don't throw away much. And when you look at these, let me look and make sure that it's in this picture. The flat edge is what's going to be facing toward your machine, and the angled edges go in the corner. So our good piece of material is going to go on the front. And yours may measure different than mine, but mine measure about 8 1/8 inches long. So I'm going to cut my material 9 inches by big enough to cover the front and the back. So probably about 1.5 inches. So 9 by 1.5 inches. And I'll pull my material, my excess material down here, glue that all down nicely and fold it down in. And I'm going to line up the bottom of my material here. Once that's dry, these parts are dry, I'll come back and dry the edges on. And then I will make sure that I apply my OD coated material to the top piece of this board. It's going to go in the case like this. So it'll be in the bottom of the case. The oil can will fit back on right here. So this is the top, and these little boards are gonna, fit in the back like this. So I'll come back after I get those all glued on. I've got my little wood piece covered best I could. And 2 of the corner bars to hold up your tray. So I think I've figured out a pretty good way to do these. So I thought I'd show you. I glued my piece that's going to fit all the way around the little bars. Okay, so my piece was, I think, 8 1/4 inches. So I made these 9. I made the pieces of my material 9. So I have some hanging out at the top. And I'm going to take and just angle down to about 1/8 of an inch before I hit wood. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I've got kind of a triangle here. Let me see if you can see that. Yep, you can see it. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some glue, and I'm going to put glue down on the top and the sides. And then I'm going to take this triangle piece in the middle. Let me make sure you're in focus. I'm going to take this triangle piece in the middle and pull down and line up the material kind of on both sides like that. So I'm going to have a hump in the middle, and I'll pull that taut so we don't have raw edges. And you're going to have to wipe off often. This is what's going to be glued to the corners of the case. So I don't want any more material than I have to have in here. So I'm going to cut some of this out. I don't want 4 or 5 layers of material in there. So I've got it pulled taut and that pulled down. Then next thing, I'm going to cut a triangle here. Let me make sure you're in the screen. on both sides. So, looks nice on the front. Gonna lay that back down, get some more glue. And I've just made a little pile of glue just to make it easier for myself. Glue it down both sides. And I'm taking the glue all the way up to the top. I can always wipe excess off later, but it's harder to put it in when it's folded. Go down both sides. Okay. Whoops. Wipe my fingers off. And I'm going to pull one side up. And these are Odie Coat scraps I'm using, so it's got the Odie Coat finish on it like the rest of the interior will have. I'm just kind of pulling that up and over. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. It's going to lap over a little bit, so it looks like I need to put a little more glue in here. I want it to be really glued down well. Push that back up. Pull that down, over, down and over, down and over. Then any excess, I'm just going to wipe it off. It really doesn't matter what this side looks like because it's going to be glued to the corners of the case. So the only side that really makes any difference is this, and your top. You want it to look halfway decent. So I'm just going to take off any excess glue and make sure you're still in the frame. Yep. And then I just kind of push on both sides to lay that down nice and taut. And any air bubbles kind of wipe out. And this end I just leave open because that's going to go down on the bottom of your case. So just leave that open. If you wanted to put material, if you wanted to wrap your material on the bottom too, you could. But just going to leave it open. There you go. I clamped in my corner pieces with just clamps that I had for chips. And I used a credit card so it wouldn't indent the fabric on the outside. So I hold in my clamp, oops, focus. I hold in my corner piece till it's sticking after using my E6000 glue on it. And then I clamped it and let it set overnight.